Hi everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. In this video, I am going to talk about what is a clustering key in Snowflake. This is the fourth video from Snowflake Table Structures playlist. What is a clustering key? A clustering key is a subset of columns in a table or expressions on a table that are explicitly designated to co-locate the data in the table in the same micropartition. When you create a table without clustering key, maybe columns will be stored in a different partitions. You want to store a set of columns in a same partition, then it would be better to go for clustering key concept. This clustering key is useful for very large tables where the ordering was not ideal at the time the data was inserted or loaded, or extensive DML has caused the table's natural clustering to degrade. So when you go for the when you go for the clustering key, there are two cases. One, for the large tables where ordering was not ideal, so whatever that order inserted or loaded, that order may not useful when you run the query, or useful means here may not getting the good performance while executing that query. Or if you are performing any extensive DML operations on that table, then this whatever the default clustering may degrade. So in that case, we have to go for the clustering key. Some general indicators that can help determine whether to define clustering key for a table. So you need to decide that when should go for clustering on a table, or when should create a, that how you are going to take the decision based on the below. Queries on the tables are running slower than expected. You assume that you are thinking that the queries are in the table are running slower than the expected, or have noticed degraded over time. Say example, over the time you notice that degrade, that means from past 10 days or till now it has been running, till yesterday it has been running, then suddenly today it started running very slow. So and that case you observe tomorrow, and okay, and then if tomorrow also same, you feel that performance is not good, then you can go for clustering. And the clustering depth for the table is large. This is also one thing. The clustering depth for the table is large, then you can go for the recluster clustering, or add more keys to cluster. A clustering key can be defined at table creation. So when you define a cluster key, so clustering key can be defined at the table creation by using the create table command, or afterward, that means using the alter table command. So to create, to enable clustering or to create a cluster on a table, two options. One is the while creating the table, and another one is the alter table. Alter table means you create a table without cluster key, and then you add the cluster key by adding alter table command. Attention with the cluster key. We have to be careful while creating cluster key to the table on table. So cluster keys are not intended for all the tables. Okay, this is the first point. Clustering keys are not intended for all the tables. The size of the table, okay, the size of a table as well as the query performance for table should dictate whether to define a cluster key for the table. So you should not see only table size of the table, and also you see performance for that table. Suppose performance means here you have a table and you are trying to execute a query, that query is taking more time. Okay, so you have to consider these two, size of the table and query performance for the table, so dictate whether to define a cluster key for the table. In general, tables in the multi-terabyte range will experience the most benefit from clustering, particularly if DML is performed regularly or continually on these tables. So if the table is very large tile, that means multi-terabyte, then if you create a clustering key on that table, we will experience the most benefit from that clustering. And moreover, if you are going to perform the DML operations, whether delete the data or merge the data or insert the data, if you are performing regularly every half an hour or 1 hour like that, then we should go for clustering. In particular, to see the performance improvements from the clustering key, how we are going to see based on these things. A table has to be large enough to consist of a sufficiently large number of micro partitions. Second one is the columns defined in the clustering key how to provide sufficient filtering to select a subset of these micro partitions. What is that mean? Suppose you have a one orders table or sales table. Assume that sales table. In that sales table, whatever you are going to while retrieving the data, you may use some cases filters. So that filters, okay, should have a cluster key on that filter columns. That is the one thing you need to be careful about. Also, before explicitly choosing to cluster a table, Snowflake strongly recommends that you to test a representative set of queries on the table to establish some performance baselines. So you cannot create a cluster key even though if it is the multi-terabyte table. Also, before taking the decision to go for clustering key, you prefer a set of queries with different filter criteria or predicts, and then you see, if you see is taking more time, then you can come to conclusion that yes, we have to create a clustering on these so and so columns based on your usage of filter conditions. And also there are few strategies for selecting clustering keys. A single clustering key can contain one or more columns or expressions. So single cluster key can contain one or more columns or expressions. Expression is nothing but you have a column and then you can derive the column, like based on the one column you can derive the another value. That could be a expressions, or you can apply the functions to the existing columns. Snowflake recommends a maximum of 3 or 4 columns or expressions, including the expressions for a key. So assume that there are 100 columns are there. Out of 100 columns, you cannot create cluster. You cannot include the columns 10 columns like that. So you have to maximum 3 or 4. Otherwise, there would be other problems, like adding more than 3 or 4 columns tends to increase the cost more than benefits. Here cost means is nothing but storage cost and also compute cost, both. Okay, then benefit here the performance benefit, so you will not get that performance. Instead of that, you will increase the cost. Selecting the right columns or expressions for the clustering key can dramatically impact query performance. As I said that, out of 100 columns, what are the most used columns in the filter condition? So for those columns, if you create a clustering, then there would be a good performance. Snowflake recommends prioritizing the keys in the order below. Okay, what is that order? Cluster columns that are most actively used in the selective filters. This is the one condition. The other one, if there is a room for the additional cluster keys, then consider the columns frequently used in the join predicates. So suppose if you have created 2 columns as part of a cluster key and another column is being used as part of while joining from one table to another table, then in that case you can include that column as part of your cluster key. If you typically filter queries by 2 dimensions, like suppose you have one table here, 2 dimension means 2 columns. Filtering the in your query in filter conditions, they assume that there are 2 columns from the table, application ID and user status columns. Then clustering on the both columns can improve the performance. So instead of keeping only application ID, because you are going to use these 2 columns in the filter condition, so that it would be better to have these 2 columns as part of your clustering key. the number of distinct values, that is the cardinality here. Okay, here the number of distinct values. For example, distinct values means if you take a gender, one of the table, gender would be, I mean, male or female. So here cardinality is very low cardinality or less called. In a column or expressions is a critical aspect for selecting it as a clustering key. So the number of distinct values in a column or expressions is a critical aspect of selecting selecting it as a clustering key. It is important to choose a clustering key that has large enough number of distinct values to enable effective pruning on the table. So if you have a large number of distinct values, like suppose as I explained that gender is the male or female, so it would not better to have that column. Instead of that, suppose there is a one region within that country, assume that there are multiple regions are there, or state codes. So state codes could be, I mean, more than 10, 20, okay, large numbers. So in that case, large enough number of distinct values to enable effective pruning on the table. Pruning means is nothing but to eliminate the data while scanning the, I mean, okay, there I mean 100 of partitions are there, the 100 partitions are there. Out of 100 partitions, how many partitions you are going to read? It should be less than 10%, then that would be ideal. A small enough number of distinct values to allow Snowflake to effectively group rows in the same micro partitions. This is also one of the advantages. A small enough number of distinct values to allow Snowflake to effectively group rows in the same partitions. The other strategy, a column with very low cardinality. Okay, this column that indicates only whether a person is male or female, might yield only minimal pruning. See, if you include this one as part of your cluster key, the pruning may not happen properly. That is the problem with the low cardinality. A column with a very high cardinality, example, very high quality, okay, column containing UUID, unique number, or nanosecond timestamp values, is also typically not a good candidate to use as a clustering key directly. So assume that each column is a distinct value, like employee ID. So employee ID is the distinct. Assume that we are not going to have a duplicate values. In that case, if you are going to include the employee ID as part of a cluster key, because the employee ID is the high cardinality is there. Okay, a column with the high cardinality, a column, that is the one thing that is also not good. So these are the about clustering keys and strategies for selecting clustering keys. And in upcoming videos, I am going to create a table and then enable the clustering, and also I will show you how to auto clustering works in Snowflake. Thank you for watching my video. If you like this video, please subscribe to my YouTube channel and then share it to your friends and like. Thank you once again.